Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udirayet Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttamashloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 1, Text 28. Please repeat. Rajadhani tatah sabhut Sarva Yadava Bhujam Mathura Bhagavan Yatra Nityam Sannihito Harihi. Rajadhani tatah sabhut Sarva Yadava Bhujam Mathura Bhagavan Yatra Nityam Sannihito Harihi. Rajadhani tatah sabhut Sarva Yadava Bhujam Mathura Bhagavan Yatra Nityam Sannihito Harihi. Rajadhani tatah sabhut Sarva Yadava Bhujam Mathura Bhagavan Yatra Nityam Sannihito Harihi. Rajadhani tatah sabhut Sarva Yadava Bhujam Mathura Bhagavan Yatra Nityam Sannihito Harihi. So word to word translations. Please repeat. Rajadhani, the capital. Tataha, from that time. Sa, the country and the city known as Mathura. Abhut, became. Sarva Yadava Bhujam, of all the kings who appeared in the Yadu dynasty. Mathura, the place known as Mathura. Bhagavan, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Yatra, wherein. Nityam, eternally. Sannihitaha, intimately connected. Living eternally. Harihi, the Lord, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Translation. Since that time, the city of Mathura had been the capital of all the kings of the Yadu dynasty. The city and district of Mathura are very intimately connected with Krishna, for Lord Krishna lives there eternally. Please repeat. Since that time, the city of Mathura had been the capital of all the kings of the Yadu dynasty. The city and district of Mathura are very intimately connected with Krishna, for Lord Krishna lives there eternally. Purport. It is understood that Mathura city is the transcendental abode of Lord Krishna. It is not an ordinary material city, for it is eternally connected with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Vrindavana is within the jurisdiction of Mathura, and it still continues to exist. Because Mathura and Vrindavana are intimately connected with Krishna eternally, it is said that Lord Krishna never leaves Vrindavana. Vrindavanam parityajya padamekam nagachyati. At present, the place known as Vrindavana in the district of Mathura continues its position as a transcendental place. And certainly anyone who goes there becomes transcendently purified. Navadvip Dhama is also intimately connected with Vrajabhumi. Srila Narottam Das Thakura therefore says, Shri Gauda Mandala Bhumi Yeba Jane Chintamani Tarahai Vrajabhumi Vas. Vrajabhumi refers to Mathura Vrindavana, and Gauda Mandala Bhumi includes Navadvipa. These two places are non-different. Therefore, anyone living in Navadvip Dhama, knowing Krishna and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to be the same personality, lives in Vrajabhumi, Mathura Vrindavana. The Lord has made it convenient for the conditioned soul to live in Mathura, Vrindavana and Navadvipa, and thus be directly connected with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Simply by living in these places, one can immediately come in contact with the Lord. There are many devotees who vow never to leave Vrindavana and Mathura. This is undoubtedly a good vow, but if one leaves Vrindavana, Mathura or Navadvip Dhama for the service of the Lord, he is not disconnected from the Supreme Personality of Godhead. At any rate, we must understand the transcendental importance of Mathura, Vrindavana and Navadvip Dhama. Anyone who executes devotional service in these places certainly goes back home, back to Godhead, after giving up his body. Thus the words Mathura Bhagavan Yatra Nityam Sannihito Harihi are particularly important. A devotee should fully utilize this instruction to the best of his ability. Whenever the Supreme Lord personally appears, he appears in Mathura because of his intimate connection with this place. Therefore, although Mathura and Vrindavana are situated on this planet Earth, they are transcendental abodes of the Lord. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purport. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Gnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin Iti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Sri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Jai Srila Prabhupada. So the previous verse to this gives more context about this verse. The previous verse says, formerly Surasena, the chief of the Yadu dynasty, had gone to live in the city of Mathura. There he enjoyed the places known as Mathura and Surasena. So that talks about Surasena, the chief of the Yadu dynasty. And then this verse comes. Tataha, thereafter, Sarvayadava Bhubujam Rajadhani Abhut, that place known as Mathura, it became the Rajadhani of who? Sarvayadava Bhubujam, all the kings of the Yadava dynasty, since the time Surasena started to rule. Not only that, the Yadavas made it their capital, Mathura, because Mathura, Bhagavan Yatra Nityam Sannihito Harihi. Bhagavan Hari, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he is eternally connected with Mathura. Mathura Sannihito is very intimately connected with Mathura. He lives there, Nityam, eternally he lives there. So that is the significance of Mathura. That is the significance of Yadu dynasty. And now, who is this Surasena? We keep hearing his name in Bhagavatam and Krishna book. Who is this Surasena? Where does he come? In the huh? Vasudeva's family? He is Vasudeva's father. Yes, he is Vasudeva's father. If you see the line, this is the overall line. I don't think you can make out much from this. But I'll tell you what this is. This is from Yadu actually. The top is Yadu. And from him comes Vrishni and Andhaka. And from Vrishni eventually comes Surasena. And from Andhaka comes, there is another personality, I'll tell who. So this is about the Surasena. The leader of the Yadu dynasty, so he is the leader of the Yadu dynasty, King Surasena, was ruling over the country known as Mathura, wherein lies the city of Mathura, as well as the district known as Surasena. So he was ruling both the country known as Mathura and the district of Surasena. The district Surasena was named after him, basically. And on account of the rule of this king, Surasena, Mathura became the capital of all the kings of the Yadus. Mathura was also made the capital of the king of the Yadu dynasty because the Yadus were a very pious family and knew that Mathura is the place where Lord Sri Krishna lives eternally, just as he also lives in Dwaraka. Okay, this is about Surasena. Now, so you can see a little more clearly if you come nearby. So this is from the top is Vrishni, and we saw even higher than him is Yadu, and through him Satvata and then Vrishni, and then from after many descendants came Surasena, and as some of you told, Vasudeva here, the son of Surasena. And now who is Ugrasena? If Surasena was ruling Mathura, then why was Ugrasena ruling Mathura also? Why was Kamsa ruling Mathura? Because we know how Krishna went to Mathura to kill Kamsa. Now, what is this confusion? So who is Ugrasena? Why was he also ruling Mathura? And why Kamsa was ruling Mathura? We take it for granted when we read Krishna book. So what is this connection? What is this confusion? Yeah, he is father of Kamsa, obviously. Naturally, we learned Kamsa even imprisoned him and started to take over his kingdom. But why was he ruling Mathura? If Surasena was ruling Mathura. So if you see, this is Ugrasena's predecessors. Like, if you go back a little bit, maybe forward a little bit, I don't think you can make out from this as well, but so this is Yadu, and finally there is one side Surasena and one side Ugrasena, right? That much you can make out. They're in one sense peers kind of thing. And this is the detail of Ugrasena. His father is Ahuka, and all the way goes to Andhaka and then Satvata. So this is Ugrasena. So it is said in Krishna book that this Ugrasena actually belonged to Bhoja dynasty. So as you can see here, there are different dynasties. This is Andhaka dynasty. You see here? My mouse you can move here, right? This is Andhaka dynasty. Similarly, there is somewhere Bhoja dynasty. So he actually, in the many descendants, probably there is Bhoja also. So Ugrasena was actually ruling Bhoja dynasty. Surasena was ruling which dynasty? Yadu dynasty. So like that, Prabhupada explains, there is Yadu dynasty being ruled by Surasena, Bhoja dynasty being ruled by Ugrasena, there is Andhaka dynasty, there are many other dynasties, Vrishni dynasty. There are small kings were ruling each of them. But then, when Krishna went to kill Kamsa, Krishna killed Kamsa obviously, and Krishna made Kamsa's father Ugrasena, who was supposed to be the ruler of Bhoja dynasty, he made the overall emperor of all these small dynasties. Yadu dynasty, Bhoja dynasty, Andhaka dynasty, Vrishni dynasty. He made Ugrasena, even though he was a subpart ruling Bhoja dynasty, he made the head of all these dynasties, emperor, basically, putting him even above the Yadu dynasty. So by dint of that, he also is considered the ruler of Mathura. So that's why Mathura also belonged to him. And here, actually, Krishna says that in the Krishna book purport, when he killed Kamsa, he puts him, after the death of Kamsa, Kamsa's father was released and announced to be the king of the Yadu kingdom, even though he was the Bhoja king. It appears that in those days, the western part of India, there were many small kingdoms, and they were ruled by the Yadu dynasty, Andhaka dynasty, Vrishni dynasty, and Bhoja dynasty. Maharaj Ugrasena belonged to the Bhoja dynasty. Therefore, Krishna indirectly declared that the king of Bhoja dynasty would be the emperor of the other small kingdoms. He willingly asked Maharaj Ugrasena to rule over them because they were his subjects. So Krishna belonged, even though he is a member of the Yadu dynasty, he voluntarily accepted the rule of Maharaj Ugrasena. And he mentioned something very interesting. He informed Ugrasena, being cursed by Yayati, the kings of the Yadu dynasty will not rise against the throne. It will be our pleasure to serve you as your servants. So Ugrasena might say, no, the Yadu dynasty is very powerful, they will attack me. But what Krishna is giving assurance? They will not attack you because of the curse of Yayati. No, that's a homework. What is that curse? If somebody knows, they can tell. Yayati asked Yadu to give his age. Yeah, he can become young, but Yadu didn't agree. On what? Cursed him what? You were correct, but cursed what? They will not rule? They will not rule anymore? He will not become emperor? Okay, find the source of it and share it, okay? What is that curse? So Ugrasena was then rest assured. So that is the history of who is Surasena, who is Ugrasena. Now you know. So now, some questions. In Bhagavatam, Krishna has threefold pastimes. So where are these pastimes performed? Vrindavana, Mathura and Dwaraka. Correct. I'll show you this picture for a bit and I'll come back to this picture. So you see Raja Leela, Mathura Leela, Dwaraka Leela. That's it. Now the questions. If you had read everything, absorbed, you can answer these questions. Photographic memory. So the first 4 chapters describe whose prayers for the relief of whom, and they also describe the appearance of whom. The first 4 chapters of obviously Srimad Bhagavatam. You're close. They describe the Brahma's prayers for the relief of the Mother Earth, and they also describe the appearance of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Chapters 5 through 39 recount Krishna's pastimes in Vrindavana is correct. The 40th chapter describes how Krishna enjoyed in the water of the Yamuna and who offered prayers. Nagapatnis? Nagapatnis, and he said wives of what? Akrura is the right answer. In chapters 41 through 51, 11 chapters tell of Krishna's pastimes in Mathura is the right answer. And chapters 52 through 90, 39 chapters relate Krishna's pastimes in So, so how many chapters were the largest in which Leela? Dwaraka as well as Vrindavana also, right? Let's see. Now I'll show you this. So 40 chapters Vrajalila. Actually, first 4 are not really Vrajalila, it's prelude to that. So actually 36 chapters. And Dwaraka is 39 chapters. Mathura is 11 chapters. And in between Mathura, there is also this Brahmara Gita, 47th chapter. What is that Brahmara Gita? The bumblebee, Radharani is talking in separation to bumblebee. So technically it is Vrindavan actually. So that first 40 chapters are divided like this. First 4 are Brahma's prayers for the relief of earth's burden and appearance of the Lord. And 5 through 39, Krishna's pastimes in Vrindavan. And 40th chapter, how Krishna enjoyed in the water of Yamuna and how Akrura offered prayers, as you said. And in between 29 through 33, Rasa Leela chapters, very important. Rasa Leela, Rasa Panchadhyaya, Krishna's dancing with the gopis. So, so that is the quiz questions. Now coming to the purport. So it is understood that Mathura city is the transcendental abode of Lord Krishna. It is not an ordinary material city, for it is eternally connected with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So in Chaitanya Charitamrita, there is one personality from who comes to visit Chaitanya Mahaprabhu from Bihar. Anybody knows who it is? A very difficult question, actually. That's why we read Chaitanya Charitamrita, but we don't pay attention to these intricate details. It's a very difficult question. His name starts with Raghu. Raghupati Upadhyay. I'm sure you might not have remembered that. So a very great devotee of the Lord. When he comes, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu understands he is a great devotee and he asks him a lot of questions so that he can explain about Lord Krishna. So he asks him to explain about Lord Krishna. In one of the explanations, he composes this verse and tells Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. That verse is Shyama eva param rupam puri madhupuri vara vayah kaishorakam dhyeyam adya eva paro rasaha. The first line, Shyamam eva param rupam, he says. Of all Krishna's forms, Jai Srila Prabhupada, of all Krishna's forms, what is the highest form of Krishna? Shyamam. Shyamam eva param rupam. What is that Shyama Sundara form? Threefold bending form. Barha vatam samasitam buddha sundarangam. Holding flute, wearing peacock feather. That is Shyamam. Shyamam eva param rupam. Puri madhupuri vara. Of all the puris, what is the best puri? Madhupuri. The city of Mathura is the supreme abode. And of all the ages of Krishna, what is the best age? What is Kaishora? So, Balya, Kaumara, Pauganda and Kaishora, Yavana. So that, yeah, it's 10 to 15, close to 15, but not more than that. So that is Vayaha Kaishorakam Dhyeyam. Lord Krishna's fresh youth should always be meditated upon. Dhyeyam. And Adhyayeva Paro Rasaha. Rasa means mellow. What is the best mellow? What is the best rasa that one can worship Krishna with? Huh? Madhurya? So it says Adya, that is Adi Rasa, the original transcendental mellow or conjugal love. The mellow of conjugal love is the supreme mellow. So now we know Vrindavana is also there, the supreme abode of the Lord. Then why is Mathura being mentioned as the supreme abode? Yeah, so they're all in Mathura. They're all in Mathura district. So Krishna Prabhupada mentions in a purport earlier to that, Krishna lives sometimes in Mathura and sometimes in dash Dwaraka, because Mathura includes Vrindavan. So Krishna lives sometimes in Mathura and sometimes in Dwaraka, but Mathura is considered the better place. This is also confirmed by Rupa Goswami in his Upadeshamrita. What is that shloka? Vaikunthajanito vara madhupuri tatrapi rasotsavad. Madhupuri or Mathura is superior to Vaikuntha lokas in the spiritual world because Janita, because Krishna personally appeared in Mathura. So that is why it is considered the best. And in the continuing the purport, you see here in the last line in the page, it is said that Lord Krishna never leaves Vrindavana. Vrindavanam parityajya padamekam na gacchati. Then how do we see Krishna leaving Vrindavana? We see pictures, we see stories. Akrura came and took Krishna away. Krishna and Balaram, they went to Mathura, they fought with Kamsa, they killed, they went to Dwaraka. Then how is it that Krishna never leaves Vrindavana? Huh? Vasudeva expansion of Krishna left Vrindavana. So Krishna stayed there. Krishna in the bhava form always stays in Vrindavana. Both are correct. So this Prabhupada explains very nicely in Krishna book, 46th chapter. Nanda Maharaj returned to Vrindavana without Krishna and Balaram. So where they went along with Krishna and Balaram to Mathura, but they returned without Krishna and Balaram. He was accompanied only by the cowherd boys and men, Nanda Maharaj. It was certainly very pathetic scene for the gopis, Mother Yashoda, Srimati Radharani and all the residents of Vrindavana. Many devotees have tried to make adjustments to Krishna's being away from Vrindavana because, according to expert opinion, Krishna, the original Supreme Personality of Godhead, never goes even a step outside of Vrindavana. He always remains there. So what is the explanation of the expert devotees about this? How Krishna left and how Nanda Maharaj returned without Krishna and Balaram? What is the opinion of the expert devotees? Prabhupada writes here. The explanation of the expert devotees is that Krishna was actually not absent from Vrindavana. He came back with Nanda Maharaj as promised. How startling this is. He came back with Nanda Maharaj as promised. When Krishna was starting for Mathura on the chariot driven by Akrura and the gopis were blocking the way, Krishna assured them that he was coming back just after finishing his business in Mathura, right? He assured them he would come back. He told them not to be overwhelmed and in this way pacified them. But when he failed to come back with Nanda Maharaj, it appeared that he either cheated them or could not keep his promise. Expert devotees, however, have decided that Krishna was neither a cheater nor a breaker of his promises. Krishna in his original identity returned with Nanda Maharaj and stayed with the gopis and Mother Yashoda in his bhava expansion. So in his original identity he came back and stayed with them in his bhava expansion, whereas Krishna and Balarama remained in Mathura not in their original forms, but in their expansions as Vasudeva and Sankarshana. So that is how we should understand. So that is why Krishna never leaves Vrindavana. Padamekam nagachyati. And continuing the purport, there are many, we'll come back to that. Yeah, so here, the top line. There are many devotees who vow never to leave Vrindavana and Mathura. This is undoubtedly a good vow. But if one leaves Vrindavana, Mathura or Navadvip Dhama for the service of the Lord, he is not disconnected from the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So people usually have fascination to go to a holy dham, right? Mathura, Vrindavan, Navadvip. Oh, I want to go there, live with enjoying the Lord's pastimes, remembering the Lord's pastimes. It seems some devotees take that vow also, to always live in the holy dham once they go there and never leave. It's called, technically called, Kshetra Sannyasa. Kshetra Sannyasa. Kshetra means the holy dham, and you go there and reside eternally. That means you left everything else. That is called Kshetra Sannyasa. Now in our history, at least two personalities we know have taken Kshetra Sannyasa. I would even narrow it down to Chaitanya Charitamrita. Gadadhar Pandit has taken Kshetra Sannyasa to live in Jagannath Puri. And then who is the other personality? No, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu never took Kshetra Sannyasa. He took Sannyasa. Sannyasa means to travel everywhere, but not Kshetra Sannyasa. Kshetra Sannyasa means he has to stay in that place. No, he didn't take Kshetra Sannyasa. It's a very surprising thing. He's not a sannyasi. He lived in Jagannath Puri. He took Kshetra Sannyasa. He is Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. He was a Grihastha, but he was considered Kshetra Sannyasi because he took the vow never to leave Jagannath Puri. So now, coming to Gadadhar Pandit, who also took Kshetra Sannyasa to live in Jagannath Puri. One time what happens, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he wanted to go to Vrindavan. So when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took sannyasa, he made his headquarters where? Jagannath Puri. So first 2 years after that he went somewhere. He toured one place in India, South India. For 2 years after taking sannyasa, he went to South India. And then he came back. He wanted to go to Vrindavan. And Ramananda Rai and Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya didn't want to separate from the Lord. They said, Lord, you can go to Vrindavan when it becomes a little cooler. In Kartik month, you can go. So he stayed there. So Kartik month came. He wanted to go. They said, my Lord, why don't you see Dola Yatra and then go? Jagannath Dola Yatra. He said, okay, all right. Then after that, what happened? My Lord, now it's become very cold in Vrindavan. Now you cannot go there. Why don't you stay back? So he stayed back. The next year, all the devotees from Bengal came. Usually they come during what period? Chaturmasya time. Radhayatra time they come. June, July time. And they stay through the Chaturmasya. June, July, August, September. And then they go back to Bengal. So next year they came and they stayed and he could not go again. So for 4 years he could not go. 2 years to South India he went and 2 years he kept on postponing. 5th year, again the devotees from Bengal came. And this time they did not stay for Chaturmasya. They left immediately after Radhayatra. And this time Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, so far you've made all the tricks, stopped me from going to Vrindavan, now I have to go to Vrindavan. And then Ramananda Rai felt really bad. Oh, because of our tricks, for our happiness, we stopped the Lord from going to Vrindavan. Now we should let him go. And they all make arrangements. Even the king make arrangements for Lord to go. And now Gadadhar Pandit is so intimately connected with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu from childhood. They were inseparable. Now Gadadhar Pandit hears the news that again Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is going somewhere to Vrindavan. He cannot tolerate that. And he starts to follow him for a long distance. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu starts to go to Katak, Sakshi Gopal, and then he's trying to go away, and then Gadadhar Pandit is following him. But Gadadhar Pandit has taken what? Kshetra Sannyasa, to be in Jagannath Puri. He'd be breaking his vow for Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu requested to return to Jagannath Puri. Requested Gadadhar Pandit. Then what he says? My Lord, wherever you are staying is Jagannath Puri. Let my so-called Kshetra Sannyasa go to hell. When Chaitanya Mahaprabhu asked Gadadhar Pandit to remain in Jagannath Puri and engage in Gopinath service, Gadadhar Pandit replied, one renders service to Gopinath 1,000,000 times simply by seeing your lotus feet. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, if you abandon his service, it will be my fault. It is better you remain in Puri and render service. That will be my satisfaction. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu didn't want Gadadhar Pandit to break his vow for Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And then what Gadadhar Pandit replied, no, my Lord, I will not break my vow for your sake. You may think like that. I will break my vow for my sake. I am going to Bengal with you en route to Vrindavan to see Mother Sachi. That is my personal vow. So that is why I am breaking this vow, not because of you. So indirectly he wants to continue to come to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu becomes very stern. And he said, you have abandoned Gopinath service and broken your vow to live in Puri. All that is, you wanting me to go with me is simply a desire for sense gratification. In this way, you are breaking two religious principles, and because of this, I am very unhappy. If you want my happiness, please return to Nilachala. You will simply condemn me if you say any more about this matter. And he left. And Gadadhar Pandit, he faints, becomes unconscious. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu leaves him. You see here, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, even though Gadadhar Pandit was so attached to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, that was his personal satisfaction, but Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ordered him not to come with him and break his vow of service. So that means service was considered more important and would give more pleasure to the Lord than what one would get by personally being with the Lord or being in the Holy Dham. And that's what Prabhupada also is saying here. There are many devotees who vow never to leave Vrindavana and Mathura. This is undoubtedly a good vow. But if one leaves Vrindavana, Mathura or Navadvip Dhama for the service of the Lord, he is not disconnected from the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So who is the best example for this? Prabhupada himself. So this is, Prabhupada many times he showed how more important than our personal satisfaction. It's undoubtedly, it's very satisfying to be with the Lord. But more important is our service to the Lord, service to the spiritual master. So many times we may have to take up different difficult services, especially during festivals. One may not be present in the temple hall with nice kirtans, nice darshan of the Lord, seeing nice devotees. One may be in some other place, busy taking care of so many things, completely disconnected from everything. But we should understand that if you do that nicely, that would give more pleasure to the Lord. you're saying something. Correct. Yeah. Parking service, cooking service, washing vessels, all these kind of things. So many other services that gives pleasure to the Lord. So the last point here is that a devotee should fully utilize this instruction to the best of his ability. Whenever the Supreme Personal Lord personally appears, he appears in Mathura because of his intimate connection with this place. Therefore, although Mathura and Vrindavana are situated on the planet Earth, they are transcendental abodes of the Lord. They are although situated on planet Earth, they are transcendental abode of the Lord. So how is it that it is said that when this universe is annihilated, when this world is decimated, these transcendental abodes still stay there eternally? How do we understand that? Huh? They are expansions of. Can somebody bring a piece of paper? Some paper. Yeah, there. So some nice some ball is there, something to show. Any ball? Yeah, marble or something. So let's say this is the surface of the earth, right? This is the surface of the earth. So all these are different countries and cities. Let's assume that each letter is like a country or city. Okay. So now, so this is, let's say, Mathura. Okay. So Mathura is staying here. Okay. So Mathura became one letter, right? So Mathura, you plant. So Krishna from eternal spiritual world, this Mathura, comes here and stays in this material world. So it became one letter. Now this material world is destroyed. That means this paper is burnt. It's taken away now, decimated. Externally, that letter is gone, the whole paper is gone. But what happened to this? It still remains, right? What we see is only in the dimension that we can see. This is only the thing that we can see, the paper and the letters. This we cannot see because this is the eternal abode of the Lord. It appears like a letter to us because we only see this. But when it is gone, it doesn't mean that this is gone. This is still there. So that's why they are the eternal abodes of the Lord, transcendental abodes of the Lord, eternal abodes. They can never go, they are never destroyed. So I'll stop there. Any other questions or comments? ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय, जगत गुरु शीला प्रभुपाद की जय, निताई गौर प्रेमानंदे, हरि हरि बोल, हरे कृष्ण. पार्थ उवाच ఇది అక్కడ పెడతావా?